Ladies and gentlemen, this is TVP World. You're watching another edition of Military Mind, bringing you news from the front lines. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee. Russian forces attacked Ukraine overnight into April 20th, launching nearly 150 strike drones across the country. Ukrainian Air Force officials reported drone impacts at 18 locations. The overnight attack caused casualties and damage in multiple regions, with at least 10 people wounded overall. 6 were wounded in the Dnipro region, including 3 severely enough to require hospitalization. The attacks partially destroyed homes, a 5-story residential building, several businesses, and other civilian infrastructure. In Kyiv, 1 man was wounded after drones struck several residential buildings. In Kharkiv, 3 people were wounded after one of the drones hit an apartment block. In the Kherson region, Russian forces dropped bombs in the village of Belozerka, destroying or damaging around 20 houses. No casualties were reported there. Meanwhile, the conflict continues to affect Russian territory as well. Ukrainian drones struck the port of Tuapse overnight. The attack killed 1 person and injured another, and a fire broke out in the seaport area. Authorities in the Krasnodar region confirmed damage to transport infrastructure in the port. According to the independent Russian outlet Astra, fuel tanks at the Tuapse oil refinery caught fire. Now, this follows a previous drone strike on April 16th, which also caused a large blaze at the same facility. On the front line, fighting continues around the Oskil River bridgehead east of Kupiansk, where Russian forces are attempting to pressure Ukrainian positions from both the northern and southern flanks. Over the past 2 weeks, this effort appears to have slowed, with what analysts describe as an operational pause in Russian attempts to compress the Ukrainian positions in the area. In the northern part of the sector, Russian infantry groups managed to gain a foothold in the eastern outskirts of Kupiansk about a week ago, but further progress has since stalled. Further south, Russian attempts to build on earlier limited successes inside the eastern part of the city have been met with a series of Ukrainian counterattacks, which have slowed or stopped further advances. Overall, Ukrainian forces continue to hold their positions and disrupt Russian advances, preventing a deeper breakthrough despite ongoing pressure. Tensions are also rising in the Middle East. U.S. forces struck a vessel flying the Iranian flag that was attempting to break the naval blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. President Donald Trump said the ship ignored warnings and was stopped after a U.S. naval vessel damaged its engine room. Iran condemned the strike as a violation of the ceasefire and described it as an act of maritime piracy. According to the Iranian Tasnim news agency, Iranian forces responded by launching drone attacks against several U.S. military ships. Unique footage has surfaced online and is already well on its way to legendary status. Ukrainian soldiers intercepting Iranian Shahed-136 suicide drones filmed from inside the cockpit of a Soviet-era Yak-52 training aircraft. Using a light aircraft against slow-flying drones is an ingenious solution to a complex problem. The Shahed is a difficult target for jet fighters because it flies at low speed and low altitude. The Yak-52, by contrast, is ideally suited for hunting in that speed range. While Russian propaganda tries to reassure the public with tales of controlled smoke, the oil refinery complex in Tuapse has been looking like the set of an apocalyptic movie for the 4th day in a row now. The terminal, used for exporting petroleum products, which was one of the Kremlin's key cash cows on the Black Sea, has turned into a giant torch visible even from space. The attack on the terminal in Tuapse is not just a striking image for the media, it is a surgical blow against Russia's export capacity. Millions of tons of petroleum products were shipped through this terminal to foreign markets. Its destruction means billions in foreign currency losses that will no longer flow into the Kremlin's war chest. The Pokrovsk sector remains one of the hottest spots on the front line in Ukraine, where every meter of the force belt is being wrested from Russian forces through sheer force and determination. While artillery and drones weaken Russia's defenses, it is the infantry that ultimately decides who controls the land. Advancing through the Pokrovsk sector is a test of vigilance. Assault troops move in short bounds, providing cover for one another. However, in some areas, enemy resistance has already been broken before direct contact is made.
Нет никого здесь? Над этой посадкой туда дальше. Вперед, притягивайте. Ищите безопасное место, где мы скроемся. Мишка, Каспер, подтягивайся. И смотрите внимательно под ноги.
And with that footage, we conclude this edition of Military Mind. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.